Hi, everyone. I want to welcome you to Navigating the Now with Kir Noel, medical intuitive, the creator and producer of How We Heal podcast, available on all platforms. You have to look for me as How We Heal podcast with Kir Noel. You can also do online training with me. Go to heal.site and support all of my endeavors by joining my community of people advancing their intuitive connection. So today I want to talk about HI, which is a contrary positioning of us to the oncoming new appearance of AI, which has become the stratospheric volume of noise in our world. It's unfortunately there have been current reduction of staff in many companies because of AI. And I watched a great video yesterday of a robot you can get for $20,000. I think it was courtesy of Stephen Colbert that it was shown, and it can barely open and close the dishwasher, but it's available. So HI in my world and what I've seen about HI is that it's human intelligence. I like the concept H period, I period, human intelligence that gets activated, and it's the most powerful tool we have to find out who we are and what we're here to do. So the point of my online presence in this particular platform on YouTube is navigating the now. How do we keep a clear space in ourselves while the world is making messes and people are trying to control it? I've been seeing in the news today, post-election night, is an appearance of what I consider to be HI, human intelligence. It sometimes connects us in a magnetic way, and it seems to be forcing things on, like the pendulum has begun to move the other direction. I'm really gratified by this. So let us all remove blockages to human intelligence as much as possible, to get the barriers that keep our lives trapped in isolation or separation or judgment removed. I've had an amazing life as a practicing medical intuitive, and with all my online platforms currently, which I became very much desiring to do as the country we live in has become a little bit unsteady and unstable. And I noticed that the difference between myself and others, the difference in terms of the availability of your own voice and what you came here to do, is that I decided to find out who I am. Since you're here listening, I would invite you to make that decision for just this moment. I'm going to decide who I am. I'm going to figure out what I'm here to do, and I'm not going to stop. And it's going to be okay. It's just going to be okay. When we decide we have value, we have a purpose, the world starts to say yes too. People around us that surround me, when I have that insight, are incredibly different. It's an 180-degree turnaround from the people that were in my court, in my field, in my life, when I wasn't thinking I had personal insight to bring. And unfortunately, that was very common for me in my young years. I'd have people that wanted to feel better about themselves, people that I knew were very comfortable with my insufficiencies and sort of wanted me to stay with them. So let's invite each other just for this episode to go ahead and say, here I am with my own voice, and it's unique. So let me find it. My voice is unique. My life is unique. I'd like to find it. I'd like to embrace it and do everything in my power to be in that place with myself. So the current news cycle has been pulling me in multiple directions, and I shared last week about the importance of being careful what you listen to and being very selective and what you read. I won't say that just once. I'm going to probably repeat this several times because I need to hear it. We're all intuitives. We all have incredible interior healing capacity. And when we don't align with this within ourselves, we're attracting a kind of repeat and wash cycle of the things that we were taught as children. So when I was very young, I had very low self-esteem. I didn't feel I had any point in being other than here to take care of others. I won't give you the details of that familial experience, but many of us have had that. And I got really good at people pleasing and not having a clue what I really thought. So it's taken me many retreats and many teachers and many decades of letting go of that kind of hardwired information and realizing that most of it was not true. And what I found to be my truth is how I live my life. I don't know if this makes any sense to anyone else. If you can identify with the disturbed childhood, the parents that weren't able to parent. But what it taught me to do is to be very diplomatic and have this calm sensibility about people that was really an act. And I think I felt I was abandoned in that family, so I looked to myself for parenting skills, which of course I do not have, and spent decades, as I just spoke about, unraveling this. So I'm someone now who says no and likes who I am, and how, important and how incredibly valid that is. And it doesn't mean I have a lot of friends or a huge life, although I have a very big life based on my desire to be in the world. But I have a very close-knit group of good friends who as well have found themselves. And that's a magnificent turn from where I came from. So talking more about human intelligence and the importance of that ability. It's a great skill what happens when we align within ourselves is it gives us the ability to discern and make choices that create our calm view that we hold when we're not being triggered. So I invite everyone listening to write me a comment. You can go to my website, heal.site, and you can comment and send me an inquiry or a contact information. How do you do that for yourself? Last week, I was able to share some of the things I do to maintain that inner calm. And I'm going to say them here again. I wake up and look at nature, something outside of me. It makes me feel peaceful, reminds me I'm connected. To begin with my kind of right-sized view of myself in this world. And, these basically were not getting that information anywhere else that I've seen. And I've been, I got through higher education as much as I would and chose to. And no one's ever spoken to me about this except in outside areas. So if anyone wants to write me a comment about bringing these awarenesses to our children, I would love to talk about that. I know some people are actually talking about it. So what we're developing in our lives when we think about our human intelligence is a conscious contact with our own essence that very often don't melt, most of us aren't thinking about anything but how to survive, how to make a living. So you're not being encouraged by anyone to find this part of ourselves to connect. But I have to say, even in the profession that you choose or the job you have or the career you have, the more connected we are to our human intelligence, our clarity, our intuition, wow, you are your own balancer. You are, in charge, and you don't give your mind over to anything that creates a seesaw effect. I had a wonderful teacher, and her first process with me was to really learn to take care of my own life day to day. That would be the foundation of the balance that I had to start with. And I was taught simple things because growing up, I wasn't taught. Pay your bills, get a job, job. And I did for many years. And I worked at learning about me while I had these jobs. So the concept that we are able to magnify this interior connection has, for anyone I've ever spent time with who has it, all they do is make that decision. They decide, I'm going to find my balance. I'm going to stay grounded in it. I'm going to maintain it throughout the day. When things throw me against the wall, which life can do, certainly. And I know if we watch the news, I can be thrown against the wall on a very regular basis. I'm going to find a way right back to this place that I understand I have a conscious decision I can make. And it's so I want to invite everyone who does need to know everything to take just an hour of the day, because maybe your life revolves around being involved in the world. You could be a politician, you could be a cashier, you could be an Uber driver, or you could be flying a plane. I mean, all of those are incredibly stressful jobs. If you're going to give yourself an hour of full immersion in the world at large and the information that we're all experiencing, give yourself another hour as a kind of juxtaposition to that to bring the balance back. Give yourself another hour to connect, to be with yourself. All right, so now that I'm choosing to do this, I'm going to take the rest of this time and choose just to be present with the same amount of effort and focus that I did with dealing with the outside world. I'd love to hear your comments. You can write to me, and when you listen to my YouTube channel, please post, give me feedback. If you comment on the show, it will help my channel grow. This inner balance that strikes kind of a note, as I call it, is a connection. It's a kind of musical note in us that we're aligning with our own vibration. I like the idea of music and a note as maybe that's how to identify your connection. So if I want to explore that, I'm going to listen to the notes on a scale. There aren't that many, and I'm not a musician, so I'm not going to even begin to muck this up. Whatever the note level is, listen to each note on a scale. Don't listen to flats and sharps, which is another category of notes, but just the basic note, and find your note. Sometimes just having a kind of a one-pointed way of connecting to ourselves. So listen to notes of music and pick out if you're an F or a B, and find out something that resonates with you, or the note is A. And wow, when I hear that note, it brings me back into my body, out of the outer world, and I'm going to know that this is time for me to be a little bit interior and not exterior. And then this seesaw of my life, which is like this lately, I am the center, I am the balancer of it. And I can find that balance with my human intelligence. So this is, I want to talk a little bit about the fun things that are going on in the world, besides just the work is the word, of staying connected to ourselves and enjoying the connection and finding that inner balance, with the fulcrum being us. The Buddhists understand that this is the awakened person has a clear mind. So last week I was talking with you about finding something that makes you feel happy, delightful, delighted. And I found this little owl ornament when I went to my area market. I found it. It spoke to me. I carried it around the supermarket. Did anyone else do anything like this? I carried it around the market in my basket like a kid with a cookie. I looked at it. It was gorgeous. And I talked myself out of it because I thought I am going to be buying a new plastic bin soon. So I told you, as I was, being honest about my situation, I would probably go back and it may call my name again. So I walked into the store this week, and there was a smaller version of the same beautiful little owl ornament. Instead of being $10.99, it was $6.99. So it now lives on my rearview mirror in my car, and I love it. I look at it, and it makes me have happy thoughts. So make happy choices. Give yourself something. It doesn't have to cost any money. You can pick a flower in the garden or a leaf, a beautiful, colorful leaf this time of year, and put it in your car on the dashboard, or put it in a book, or dry it and hang it on a thread in a window. An orange colored gorgeous leaf. And if you don't have trees that are changing color where you live, pick up something from the beach or a rock in the woods and paint it, or not. Find something that reminds us of this beautiful interior connection, and just keep that at hand. So when things are a little rough, you can check it out. And I wanted to say, let's bring consciousness in an awakened way into our daily lives and not restrict how much of that flows in. So that's my major news for the day. On the lighter side, here's a segment which I now find very entertaining. The things that I call intuitive or not, this makes no sense. So here are my observations for this week that I hope will bring a little laughter to this discussion. The richest people in the country are spending all our money and not funding our services. I can't laugh, okay? Tylenol is going to make it because Tylenol just got a major investment. I think it was $40 billion. I think what has been said about Tylenol is unprovable. And the lawsuit in Texas, well, we'll see if it continues. Amazon is replacing a huge amount of people with AI. I don't know the number. It's astounding. Do they need more money? Like they got so much of our money during COVID. Maybe there's a real need there. We just don't recognize it. And where will this all land? Well, I awaken more. I go for more human intelligence. And I found another odd and funny comparative analysis that was in the New York Times. As someone says, a failing New York Times. I do not think it's a failing New York Times. So there are these two places for vacation in the Middle East. And one is called the good one, all right? It's Sahil El Sharir. And one is called the Evil Coast. So there's the good coast and the evil coast. The evil coast is lined with $1 million beachfront villas, Louis Vuitton bags, JLo concerts, outposts. This is outside of Cairo, upscale restaurants and boutiques. And then Good Shahil, the same beautiful waters and clams caught and etc., but no grandiosity, no gold, no gilded cages. And which do I want to visit? I like neither. The world likes to take things, we like to look at things and view them with, yes, this is good and this is not good, this is bad. And I reject those ideas. I think there's a little bit of good in everything and a little bit of bad in everything. And then there's, of course, the glaringly bad. So I want to invite you, please listen to this, like it, share it. Someone I read telling me how to navigate getting more audience, which we now have, which I'm so grateful you guys for being here. They describe it. If you have to say like, share, or subscribe, it's not good. It's not good enough. So don't say it. But I still think it's okay to say it because as I know from my own experience, what we do here is something I have no familiarity with until I did. And that was only a few months ago. So yes, like, subscribe, and share, and comment on this video. And please find me at heal.site. Look to me for advice, send me comments. You can write me, you can contact me on the site. You can write me anything you want about my show. And if you have topics I'm not covering and you'd like them covered, please let me know. All right, so it was great being here this week. I look forward to next week. And I hope what we're doing with our human intelligence is starting to shift the way the world acts, at least in our view. All right, have a good week, everybody. Bye.